Good morning, everyone. Rich Davey, President of New York City Transit. Thank you for joining us here today for what is an exciting announcement. I'm joined by my colleague and friend, Jamie Torres-Springer, who's the President of Construction Development, will speak in a second. Councilor Lincoln Ressler, who has been a strong advocate of public transit. We appreciate his leadership on the City Council in supporting more service and better service is what we're talking about today. So, we are here to finally unveil our OMNY vending machine. One behind you will be rolling 10 others out, or turning on 10 others today at 6 stations, which I'll talk about in a moment. It's clear from our customer surveys that faster, cleaner, and safer is what our customers are asking for, and we can chalk this one up, I think, in all 3 categories. Having the OMNY vending machine, the option now for our customers to purchase an OMNY ticket, an OMNY card. Many of our subway customers, almost half, are already using their open loop or their tap and go ability with their credit card or debit card, or their Apple Wallet as an example. But we are bringing fare collection for an agency that just turned 119, by the way, last Friday. We are bringing our New York City Transit into a new generation of fare payment. We are excited. It took a village to get here. I just want to call out 3 folks, or maybe some groups in particular. First, the stations team, who have done yeoman's work to get our customer service agents ready to be able to provide, to provide our customers with information, multiple languages. I couldn't walk away from this podium without recognizing Mike Alinas. Mike, who I think is probably, at least for transit, the godfather of this program. He had more hair in his head when this started, but has been working tirelessly, and with the C&D team. Jamie and his team stepped up last year and really have been driving this project home, working very closely. So we very much appreciate Tim Kaiser and Jesse Lazarus. They were here. Thank you very much. I know we have probably been a difficult client at New York City Transit. I like to say we speak up the loudest because we are the biggest, but you've been real partners very much in this process, and we sincerely appreciate that. We'll be testing these for the next 30 days. We've been installing machines as we go, and we expect that the tests will go well. We'll be turning on machines very soon, but this was something that we all agreed was important. Let's get these out in the field. We've been testing them for months at Cubic's facility in San Diego. We've been testing them in a couple of secret locations here in New York, but getting them into the system and letting our customers touch it and feel it, letting our station agents work with this machine and make sure that it's running smoothly. So we hope over the next 30 days the pilot will be a success, and we'll be able to flip on some more going forward. So with that, I'm going to step away and ask Jamie to say a few words, but again, just congratulations to everyone who made this moment possible, and we look forward to New Yorkers and subway customers, bus customers, and paratransit customers being able to use OMNY more frequently. Jamie?
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Rich really said it all, but this is a proud moment for the rollout of Tap and Go in the New York City Transit and the MTA system. We've had tremendous success getting this program going. During the pandemic, we completed the rollout of over 16,000 validators for OMNY into the system, in the subways and the buses, and it really has gone seamlessly in such a way that we've gotten use of Tap and Go for OMNY up to very significant levels. As Rich said, nearly 50% on the subway, 30% on the bus system, 2.3 million taps in one day last month, which is a record that we're really proud of. And the key thing about that is that when it's convenient for people to tap, they're doing it. So 70% of full fare riders on the subway system are using OMNY now. So it's 50% overall, but that's 70% of full fare riders. And what we are learning is that when we make it easy and convenient for people to tap and go with OMNY, they're doing that. So in that respect, today is another very important day where cash-paying customers are going to be able to purchase and refill an OMNY card at these vending machines throughout the system. They're going to be able to do so for only $1. So that's a significant benefit, makes it much easier, and as we make it more and more convenient, we expect to see more and more OMNY adoption, and we're very excited about that. That's all I have to say. Rich gave our appreciation to the various players in this. I'm very proud of this team effort across C&D and New York City Transit as well. And with that, I want to introduce my friend, Councilmember Lincoln Ressler, for some remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. You know, New Yorkers, Brooklynites, we are all resistant to change, but without a doubt, the OMNY program has been a phenomenal success. I think thanks to the MTA, the George Costanza wallet is a thing of the past. We are all tapping in and out of our subway system in record speed. And you know, I'll tell you, I had my first meeting with the MTA to talk about the OMNY program 16 years ago. I was working at the Department of Consumer Affairs, Office of Financial Empowerment, and we were really focused on helping to connect unbanked New Yorkers to mainstream affordable financial services. And we were excited about the MTA pursuing an OMNY program, integrating tap and go into our credit cards and smartphones, but concerned about what the impact would be for unbanked New Yorkers. And these vending machines, is that what we call them? Vending machines? Sure, good enough. These vending machines are a critical component to making sure that every New Yorker has access to OMNY. Because 1 out of 9 New Yorkers doesn't have a bank account. They rely on check cashers, they rely on alternative financial services every single day. They don't have a credit card to tap and go. They need these vending machines to be able to benefit from the MTA system and get in and out as seamlessly as possible. So one of the things, 8 years ago when I was working in the mayor's office, we were launching the IDNYC program, and we wanted to partner with the MTA to integrate a chip into that IDNYC card so anyone with an IDNYC could tap and go. I think it's time that we bring that conversation back and make sure that every New Yorker, whether they're banked or unbanked, is able to tap and go as quickly as possible. These vending machines are going to make a huge difference. Excited that they're at 6 stations today, even more excited that they're going to be system-wide next year. This is a long time coming. Many different generations of MTA leadership have worked to try to make this happen. It's this team that actually got it done. And so Rich and Jamie and Jano and everybody who has contributed to this effort, kudos to you. This is a big accomplishment for New York City and for the MTA. Congrats on making it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And before we take questions, I think I failed to note exactly which stations are being rolled out today. So obviously here, Bowling Green, Junction Boulevard on the 7, Fordham Road, both on the 4 and the B and D, so 2 separate stations, and 86th Street on the Lex line as well. So with that, I think we're happy to take questions.
Yeah, what's the biggest lesson learned from this? It's years late, it's still not done, and it's $150 million over budget.
I'll talk certainly about the project. We can talk about that. I think a couple lessons learned, at least for me, is don't have another global pandemic. Certainly that interrupts a lot of supply chain issues, and certainly not only for this but other projects that we've had challenges. I think one of the lessons that we've learned and imported, frankly, is to pilot these machines to make sure they're working. So we're not doing a big bang rollout. We're going to test these over the next 30 days or so, make sure that they're working, and then roll out as we go. So, in terms of the project, I can't speak to that, but what all I can tell you is that it's working. Our customers are voting with their debit and credit cards, and soon we expect they'll be voting with their OMNY cards. All right, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, two responses. One, we've been open about saying that we learn from managing mega projects across the system and introduce innovations in how we manage, and we've done that. The chair was very clear. We were very clear over the last few months in saying that we needed to start managing the completion of OMNY as a mega project. We brought it into construction and development, and we're seeing things get rolled out in a systematic way, bringing all the stakeholders on board. Very complex within our system. But the other response is that it's sort of you're through the looking glass with the question. Everyday New Yorkers are able to tap and go into our system. We installed 16,000 of these things in the subway system. Even while they still have options, 70% of the people who pay full fare, for whom that at the moment OMNY is really the best option, are using OMNY. So we're very proud of how it's going. There's some additional programs that we have to roll out. It's a lot of complex software coordination and rollout within the system, but we're pretty confident that it's moving along very well.
What were the biggest sources of delay? pandemic, what were the biggest sources of
The
delay?
pandemic was the most important thing, and the rest of it is project management with some of the more complex bits of technology that have to get incorporated here. Rich said we're dealing with a very old system, modernizing it in really a new way and an unprecedented way around the world. We were really the first system to roll out open loop tap and go across the world, and doing it in such a complex system means that we had encountered a lot of issues with how we physically roll it out in the system and how we get the software updates in, but things are moving very well now.
Wow.
In the presence of greatness here. One of the things that Jano Lieber had mentioned at one point, I don't remember exactly when, but was that there had been issues with the retail component of Omni in terms of getting the cards into CVS stores. I think that's the one he mentioned specifically. How is that going at this point?
Yeah, we're obviously still working with that retail vendor network. I think we want to expand it. I think Lincoln made a very important point that this is also an equity issue for our customers, right? So for those who are unbanked, and so the retail network has provided that, that source of the ability for folks to pay with cash, for example. The Omni machines now, our customers who are unbanked will be able to as well. But we want to expand the retail network for sure. We have some work to do, no doubt, but I think the goal is to ensure that New Yorkers have as much opportunity to procure an Omni card as we can deliver. So obviously 472 stations eventually is good, but we also have customers who are using our bus network who might not be in a station, so we've got to think of them as well.
Oh, that's true. Hi, Rich. So not too long ago, MTA officials were saying that the project would be fully done by the end of this year and the MetroCard would be phased out. Obviously, I would assume that's not happening. Do you have a date on when? And Councilmember Ressler said that they're going to be, just now, that they're going to be, that all these are going to be rolled out at every station by next year. Is the project going to be done by next year? Are you going to have these at every station? And do you have a date at this point for when the MetroCard will be?
Yeah, I mean, so that's the goal. And in terms of, so there's a lot to unpack there. So, obviously over the next 30 days, pending the testing, as I said, we've been testing it for months in controlled environments, but we wanted to get them out into stations. Presuming that goes well, we'll start to turn on more and more machines. I think we have 38 or 40 that are actually installed, so we're only turning on 10. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling to get those in. But that's the expectation. There's a change management question. I think, maybe Lincoln said it best or someone else. What is, New Yorkers, what do they hate more than the status quo? Change. And so, retiring the MetroCard will take some time for sure. And we'll do that, again, with both speed but deliberation, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our customers are not confused as we roll this out. I mean, I don't see the MetroCard being retired probably for another 18 months or so. But, in the meantime, it's incumbent that these machines work and that we get them rolled out as quickly as possible.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
So I hear some skepticism from some of the folks I talk to about the rollout timeline, as my colleagues have expressed. I've seen these machines in stations for about a month now, in stasis.
Yep.
There's 30 days of testing going forward. Only 10 of, I think 38 you just said, are about to be turned on. So talk to me about both what remains to be tested at this point, and also what the timeline is for the remaining 38. Are other machines going to be brought into stations during this period? Sure. Give me a sense of when folks can start to expect to see more of these, if not all of these.
Yeah, so I mean, it's prudent to have, again, a device like this to have some testing. As I said, we've been testing this for months in the lab that Cubic has in San Diego and in our revenue control facility, also at 2 Broadway. I think, frankly, I was the one that insisted that we get some machines in stations, in the station environment, to see, did we miss anything? Having gone through a rollout of automated fare collection in a different city 15 years ago. What I think we learned there was you can never account for the environment in which these machines are in a lab, a sterile lab in San Diego, or in an office park, here in New York. So getting them in the system is so critically important. I mean, we have, I think, 27 or 28 software revisions over the last few months. So Cubic and our team have been working very closely to work out, bugs, if you will. And look, I mean, it's a big computer, so there may be something that they missed, and if there is, our expectation is, they'll fix it quick. But, the bottom line is we wanted to try it out for the next 30 days. And then to your point, as the crews still roll them out, we'll be rolling out machines in anticipation that, this will go well and we'll be able to turn more on in the very near future. The 10 are in the 6 stations. So here, Bowling Green, Junction Boulevard, Fordham Road, both in the 4 and the B and D, and 86th Street on the Lex line. Sure.
Move on to America's reporters.
Ah, Steve.
Ooh.
Hello, friends. Two
Hello,
questions, if you would give me that. One of them is about fair fares. Is there any update to the ad campaign? I haven't seen any new ad campaign to encourage more people to apply for the program, and will they be able to use Omni anytime soon with that? And my second question, can you just explain that 70%? I don't quite understand that. Can you explain that in regular people terms?
Oh, that was yours. All right, 70%. I'll let Jamie explain because that was apparently his 70% customer satisfaction. That's what I'm focused on. I don't know what his 70% is. So, but your first question was on just fair fares. So yeah, I mean the next sort of steps over the coming months is to continue to move our customers who have student passes, for example. We need to get our employees Omni passes as an example, and then for fair fares as well. That'll bleed into next year. I'm not sure I have the exact time frame. Jamie may have a little better sense of that, but that's our sort of next push, right? So we're hovering at about 50%, as I mentioned, subway customers, and we're probably going to not make a lot more penetration there because we have these huge chunks of customers who are, again, using fair fares or using other fare media that aren't single ride, as an example. Do you want to?
Yeah, just on the overall schedule, we are overhauling the schedule. We've been clear about that, and doing it with the contractor. So we expect to be back to the board in the next few months with an update on the full schedule, put these pieces into place in an organized and clear and coherent way. The point about 70% goes back to the key point, which is we will get Omni adoption and be able to retire MetroCard once we've made it simple and convenient for every single one of our riders to be able to use Tap and Go. Right now, it's simple and convenient for full fare riders to use Omni. As we just discussed, fair fares isn't rolled out yet, reduced fares, students don't have access to Omni yet. There's a few different programs that we have to get up and running. So if you look at just the full fare riders for whom it's really easy and convenient to use Omni, 70% of them are using Omni in the subway system, and we expect that number to keep increasing over the next few months.
All right, thanks. For those who are here and those who are watching the live stream, we're going to do a live demo right now to show exactly how it works. Richard Davey personally is going to buy an Omni card. That's an exciting prospect. So stay with us online and right here.